Now, the man who's exposing all of this, who was paid this crazy amount, $221 million contract with Juan Guaido, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he was never paid a penny of that, Jordan Goudreau, he has gone missing. No one knows where he is. Literally gone missing out of thin air. So the man who is exposing all of the CIA plans, all of the deep state plans for the 2020 invasion of Venezuela and this failed mission with Silver Corps USA has actually gone missing. You heard that right. As you know, the U.S. is gearing up for war against Venezuela, maybe more than just Venezuela, maybe Colombia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Honduras, Haiti. They've done troop deployments in and around a lot of these places, made very serious threats against a lot of these places. And currently, the plane, the aircraft, the one that wasn't illegally seized and stolen by the United States of America, yeah, that happened, by the way, a few years ago. The current aircraft of the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, is currently actually leaving Venezuelan airspace and heading to Havana, Cuba, based on its current trajectory. This comes one day after the Russia-Venezuela Strategic Partnership Agreement, after this came into force. Now, I don't know if Maduro's on this plane. I don't know what is going on here. I don't know if they're going to be bringing someone back to Venezuela, but this is a very interesting development. It comes at a time when the USS Stockdale, guided missile cruisers, are currently operating within Venezuela's EEZ, less than 50 kilometers from Caracas. Gettysburg is capable of launching Tomahawk missiles, by the way. So this is happening at a time when the U.S. is in their most prime position to launch a major attack, airstrikes, decapitation strikes on Caracas and the rest of Venezuela. Now, what's interesting about this development is it is occurring at the same time that the Venezuelan armed forces are preparing their guerrilla-style defense for a potential U.S. invasion. President Maduro has been on record over the past few days on multiple occasions stating that the Venezuelans are currently reading the works of Ho Chi Minh to study the, experts on guerrilla-style warfare against the United States and utilizing the lessons learned from Ho Chi Minh in the Vietnam War by the Viet Cong to prepare themselves for a potential U.S. invasion. The plan reportedly involves scattering small units nationwide to sabotage invading forces, potentially creating street chaos in Caracas to make the country immune to conquest. Which, if you have been listening to this show, you would know that this is exactly what I expected to happen all along. I said, in the days that, precede a U.S. invasion, Venezuela will become so chaotic, so ungovernable. The U.S. military, the Marines, they have no idea what's going on. There will be no central control. They'll have no option but to just be running around in circles like chickens with their heads cut off. Okay. So that appears to be what the Venezuelans are preparing for. But an interesting piece to this entire puzzle is that a man named Jordan Goudreau has gone missing in the United States. You're saying, what? What does this have to do with anything? Some American gone missing? What does this have to do with anything? Well, let me explain. Jordan Goudreau was the man who was allegedly paid by some very wealthy individuals, some, not naming direct paymasters here, but individuals closely linked with John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Juan Guaido, these sorts of figures to, instruct Mr. Goudreau to lead a coup attempt in 2019 against Venezuela. Now, this was happening at the behest of the CIA. Trump White House insiders knew of 2020 Venezuela coup in advance. New files show Max Blumenthal and Wyatt Reed revealed the secret exchanges between the top Trump associates, CIA-tied Venezuelan opposition, and the architect of the botched mercenary invasion. You might remember Silver Corps USA. This was the botched invasion Documents released by a federal court provide new and disturbing details of Trump associates' attempt to orchestrate a coup against a government they clearly did not understand. This is an unprecedented look at the players and their plots, from terrorism to false flags, that may inform looming U.S. military assault on Venezuela. The man the government blames for it all, Jordan Goudreau, provided evidence to the gray zone. So Jordan Goudreau signed a $221 million contract with Venezuela's Juan Guaido as the U.S. schemed in public and in private to designate him the legitimate president in the country. High-ranking Trump officials, including Elliot Abrams, John Bolton, and the CIA official in Latin America, and a top National Security Council advisor, appeared to know about his invasion plot and may have been involved in its planning. This is according to the documents, the messages, the emails, so on and so forth that Jordan Goudreau uncovered. Trump associates formed a shady company to pursue profits in a post-Maduro Venezuela after a Guaido associate urged them to act now, get companies, and get paid. The CIA and an intelligence-linked propaganda firm called Rendon Group carried out a sabotage of critical Venezuelan infrastructure, terrorist attacks, for a decade or so. A proposal delivered to Vice President Pence's office, including plans to conduct a false flag operations in Venezuela, spread hepatitis within the country's military, and fund the schemes through expropriation of drug products. This is how the U.S. was going to do it. Rowan Kraft, a wealthy intelligence-tied financier recruited to fund aspects of the operation, told the FBI that he concluded, quote, if Venezuelans see something, they will steal it, accusing Guaido's pals of pocketing $200,000 in humanitarian aid money. Participants in the plot told the FBI they viewed the Venezuelan opposition as hopelessly corrupt after witnessing its leaders blow huge sums on hookers, thousands of dollars, bottles of wine, and nail appointments for their girlfriends. Now, the man who's exposing all of this, who was paid this crazy amount, $221 million contract with Juan Guaido, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he was never paid a penny of that, Jordan Goudreau, he has gone missing. No one knows where he is. Literally gone missing out of thin air. So the man who is exposing all of the CIA plans, all of the deep state plans for the 2020 invasion of Venezuela and this failed mission with Silver Corps USA has actually gone missing. You heard that right. Before he went missing last week, Jordan Goudreau gave us FBI interviews, secretly taped conversations, and emails showing Trump world involvement in the failed Venezuela invasion he led and exposing the corruption and terrorist plotting of his CIA-backed VZ opposition partners. Now, Jordan Goudreau, he did an interview with Max Blumenthal. He did this he helped put together this incredible story that you can find on the Gray Zone. I'm going to be doing an interview tomorrow with one of the co-authors of this article, Wyatt Reed. I was informed that Jordan Goudreau was exposing a lot of this stuff, and he was airing out a lot of the dirty laundry as to what was going on couple weeks ago, and I reached out to Jordan Goudreau, apparently a little bit too late. I reached out to him, I believe, 4 days ago, to talk about all of this and his thoughts as to what the current plans were, if they were going to reuse any of these plans in Venezuela. I wanted to have him on the show to talk about this. And again, he's gone missing. No response. I don't know what happened to him, but I find this to be very interesting on the eve of potential war. So let's take a listen to what Mr. Goudreau was exposing in his conversation with Max Blumenthal as we reflect on the fact that he is nowhere to be found.
And you mentioned Leopoldo Lopez as well. He is sort of the godfather of the putschist arm of the Venezuelan opposition, the part of the Venezuelan opposition that wants to stage a military coup. He had actually been involved in a military coup. He's heavily backed by the government of Spain and the U.S. government. And you said that he had some knowledge of this plan as well?
Oh, absolutely. So his man is George Betancourt. His other man is Lester Toledo. And these guys were greased in with, the U.S. intelligence, Colombian intelligence. Furthermore, they were greased in with the Rendon group, which not to be confused with J.J. Rendon, but I think they call it
John Rendon,
TRG.
right?
Yeah, TRG. the Rendon group, and these guys they've been doing infrastructure attacks or helping facilitate infrastructure attacks in Venezuela for, I don't know, a decade or so. And obviously, as you know, these are all TSSCI projects that the CIA oversees in these private companies. Anytime you see the lights go out in Venezuela, I think there was a big nuclear reactor it was
the dam, it was a hydroelectric dam that went out in, I believe, 2019 and caused power outages across Caracas.
But there was something else, Max. It was a big attack, and it killed a lot of Venezuelans. Anyways, yeah. So these about the, I don't know that it was in Maracaibo. I'm getting this wrong, but it was a refinery that was attacked.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't know the number of how many Venezuelans were killed, but this attack was perpetrated by, U.S. intelligence working with Venezuelan opposition. I guess you could say saboteurs. Go ahead. There's a longstanding history of the CIA working, and I have a secret recording with it's George Betancourt, Lester Toledo, with there's a guy that I had to take a secret recording. They were talking about how they don't trust Donald Trump and that they only trust the CIA, they only trust Juan Cruz, and it's plain as day about the allegiance, where the allegiances are to these individuals. They're not aligned with Trump, they're aligned against Trump. And I think, if I may, fast forwarding now, when you look at the dynamic with Maria Corina, how does the Trump administration trust any of the opposition leadership for Venezuela? So you have a very detached relationship between these individuals.
So that's Jordan Goudreau, the man that was to be paid. He wasn't, but to be paid hundreds of millions of dollars to lead an invasion, Venezuela, on behalf of the CIA. And he's now exposing all of that, but now he's gone missing. So I pray for the health and well-being of Jordan Goudreau. Clearly a man that had a very dark past and shaky past and suspicious past, but was seemingly waking up to the fact that this was all a really evil sham in a lot of ways, and very corrupt, and just genuinely bad stuff, bombing electric stations, hydroelectric stations, plans to spread hepatitis throughout the Venezuelan military, sick and twisted stuff. And now, as a result of exposing that in the secret conversations, he's missing. Something's going on. I don't like it. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.